In this week's Gospel, we hear from John's version of the feeding of the 5,000, and that event always has a wonderful message for us all. But there's something particular to John's version that speaks even more grandly of all our vocation and what God asks us to do, how we're trying to do God's will, and how God works through each and every one of us. Because if you remember, if you've read it, then Jesus notices that the people need to be fed. So he asks Philip, where can we get some food for them? And Philip basically says, we haven't got enough money. It'd take loads of money to pay to buy food for all these people. And then it's Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, brings this young lad, this boy, to Jesus and says, well, he's got 5 loaves and 2 fish. So the amazing thing to notice there is, first of all, it's just a young lad. It doesn't seem very important. He's not even given a name. And yet he's willing to give what little he has to share with anyone. He probably knows as well it's not going to go very far, but he's still willing to give what he has. And maybe he's hoping to inspire others to do the same. Maybe that's something as well that was on his mind. So that's the first thing to notice, how generous that young lad is, and he's brought what he does have, the little he has, and even if it's going to feed only a few people, at least it's something. He's brought that to the table. So the message there for us is that we bring what little we have. We come to Mass, and part of coming to Mass is that sense of bringing everything that's gone on in our lives and offering it up to the Lord. And maybe that's material things. You might want to give something in the collection, but it's not just about material things. It's good and bad things going on in our lives and asking God to transform them. But also our gifts and talents, and just the actual being there is benefiting everybody else as well. But it's not just at Mass, it's in our lives in general too. We bring to God what little we have. As I said, that can be material things, or it's gifts and talents and time to serve Him, to serve His people. We bring those to God and we ask Him to transform them into this super abundance, because that's what happens in the feeding of the 5,000. What little that young lad did have, it somehow is able to feed all those people. Jesus turned it into a superabundance. There was stuff left over at the end, 12 baskets full of scraps. So everyone was fed and there was still stuff left over. That's what Jesus does with what we bring. He just asks us to bring it in the first place. And no matter how unimportant we think we are, just like that young lad, we just bring that little gift that we have, and Jesus transforms it into a superabundance, so that then God works through us. That's an amazing, overwhelming, powerful thing to think about as well, that God works through us and we bring what little we have and He transforms it into something amazing. And that's even the bad things going on in our lives, the issues. We bring them to God, and just like on the cross, Jesus transforms it into something amazing. Just finish on one last note. Imagine the satisfaction that young lad would have when he saw Jesus able to feed all those people with the small amount of food that He was able to offer. That's the satisfaction we get. That's why it's so fulfilling to serve other people and to know that we're doing God's will. That's why I find my life as a priest fulfilling, because I'm trying to make myself conscious of that very thought, that it's amazing to see God somehow working through the sinful, weak, flawed human being that I am, and the little that I can offer. But He transforms that, and you see it's so satisfying and fulfilling to live a life like that.